I always try to provide turtle keepers with the best, most recent and scientifically proven information, but I never actually had to build an indoor habitat since most of my turtles were housed outside. This is why I set out to build an ideal habitat for aquatic turtles, a surface-mounted pond. Inside. This is a complete, detailed guide through every step so that you can easily replicate my work, improve upon it, and scale it up if needed. Enjoy the build! Setting up the pond foil is pretty straightforward. Just spread it around, make sure you tuck it well in at the corners so it doesn't look bad, and I used staples to fix it in place on the upper edge. It is very important to use EPDM pond foil and not PVC pond foil. EPDM pond foil is far more elastic and durable in time. Avoid the cheaper PVC one because it's really crap. Special LED profiles for glass that you will see later in detail will provide further support. But the real thing that will hold the pond foil properly in place will be screws and washers inserted on the side of the aquaterrarium. You don't really need that many, but I always like to be sure that everything stays in place, and I ended up using probably more than I should have. Now for the upper part where the foil is more visible at the edge of the wet and dry side, I placed some black silicone so the transition is more smooth and less visible. Just spread it around with a finger, maybe use some paper tape as a mold, and it will look pretty neat. I had to cut the LED glass profiles at an angle and also cut a little tunnel for the LED strip to pass through them at the corners, as you can see here. Just cut the sides, bend it and get it out. After everything is properly fixed, using a scissor I cut the excess pond foil away, and all the screws, all the washers and all the rough parts will be covered anyways by wooden paneling. I've purchased an LED strip, but I have to drill a hole for the cable on this side of the terrarium, so I've taken down the profile. The cable will be running on the side and behind the aquaterrarium. Okay, so first I introduced the LED on this side, pulled the cable here out through the hole. Then I inserted the diffuser. This side is still not fixed in place, and pulled the LED bar through here and had to bend it a little on the corner. I don't want to use any connectors. The LED bar goes through here. Now I inserted it on the last side, cut it here, and now I'll be introducing the diffuser on this side. So here is our diffuser. Because afterwards we can't do that anymore. Once we fix the side in place, there's no room to insert it. Now I still have to fix this in place. And once I have finished with this side, I'll be screwing this profile in place and gluing the LED strip onto the bottom. And on this side I can then insert the diffuser without effort. I'm basically using a pencil and slowly peeling the foil off the LED bar and just tuck it in there. If I would have chosen a wider LED bar, I could have probably just slide it in place and it would have stayed fixed in the profile. Now that it is finally tucked in, we can insert the last diffuser. Now this also has the role of serving as a support for the glass. And let's test things out. Should look pretty cool with the glass on top. By the way, this is a smart LED strip, so although I have a remote, I can also control it through an app on my phone. Now that everything is fixed in place, it's time to cover everything up with wooden paneling, as I explained before. Just make sure that your screws are of proper length and you don't actually poke a hole in your hydro insulation or even worse, your pond foil. It's time to work on the skirtings of the wooden paneling, and for the regular corners I used isosceles triangles so they would fit nicely together. But in other corners you probably need to cut some more difficult shapes. Fixing the skirtings in place will be done with Mammoth diamond adhesive, the same transparent adhesive I used before, and they will stick sturdy in place. For the curing process, I simply applied some paper tape over it that I can easily remove later and just waited for the adhesive to dry. Now for this particular corner, as you can see, I've split the skirting in two pieces. One for the upper layer and one for the lower paneling. Because as you remember, the lower panels will come off using magnets and you need to slide them down and a little outwards so they can come off easily. That's why the skirting is split, and you will see a little later a video with the mechanism. For the more difficult corners, I used paper to cut out shapes and see how they fit, and after that I used them as a model to cut my skirtings at the right angles. Now that we have our template, we're gonna transpose it to our skirting, and we're gonna cut out our markings to make our life easier. So this is our template, and I'm gonna turn them around so we can draw our markings and make the cut. So, this is the shape we have to cut out. It doesn't matter if it's a few millimeters off. Okay, this is it. Be generous with paper tape to keep the skirtings in place until the adhesive dries. Now in order to slide this part out and this one too, I need to split the profile in half here, and I've already cut this part before in half so that this one is fixed and the other one is made out of 2 parts actually, and I can remove the first layer of wooden paneling. It's also time to work on the fixture for the linear UVB bulb for the turtle. I used the Pro T5 desert kit from Arcadia, which is of excellent quality, and using angled 130-degree black pre-painted corners, you just screw it in place. In the final episode, we're gonna breathe life into the aquaterrarium and introduce the turtle to its new habitat.